Good afternoon, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for coming back. I always appreciate your presence. I just start by to share a little bit updates on the peace talk on Ethiopian civil war in South Africa. So I have a briefing from South Africa President's Office spokesperson, Vincent. Mr. Vincent is giving us a little bit information about the start of the formal beginning of the peace talks and how long this peace talk, you know, lasts, and a little bit other update. Plus, also other videos I shared from different media. One is about UK Prime Minister, new Prime Minister, and also I think the Sudan protesters in Khartoum, plus a tragedy at Jijiga airport today. One member of parliament from that region assassinated by federal government security forces, by Ethiopian federal security forces. So I just start by to share this news. Then I will come back if any breakthrough on the peace talks revealed from South Africa or any breaking news or any update. Thank you again for joining me. Let's listen the briefing.
Peace talks to end the conflict in the Tigray region. And in this regard, President Ramaphosa has honored that the government of the Republic of South Africa has been requested to host the African Union-led peace talks between the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia and Tigray. The peace talks, which have been convened to find a peaceful and sustainable solution to the devastating conflict in the Tigray region, started today, the 25th of October, and will end on the 30th of October. As a country committed to the African Union's objectives of silencing the guns, South Africa is ready to serve as a host and provide assistance to the peace talks. President Ramaphosa readily agreed when he received the African Union's request for South Africa to host the peace talks. Such talks are in line with South Africa's foreign policy objectives of a secure and conflict-free continent. The talks will be facilitated by former President Olusegun Obasanjo of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who will be supported by former President Uhuru Kenyatta of the Republic of Kenya, and former Deputy President Dr. Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka of the Republic of South Africa. South Africa wishes the facilitation team well and hopes the talks will proceed constructively and result in a successful outcome that leads to lasting peace for all the people of our dear sister country, Ethiopia.
Okay.
Now onto the...
With the Google Pixel 7, you give your videos a dramatic effect with cinematic blur. Easily edit photos with Magic Eraser. In just a few...
Rishi Sunak is Britain.
Okay, I'll come back to Rishi Sunak, Indian, British new Prime Minister. He's from, he got a root from India. So Indians are celebrating, welcoming him, and they're wishing him success. So that's a briefing about the peace talks. At least we know how long these peace talks lasts, from 25 October to 30 October. So it's a 5-day window gap. We appreciate the South African government for facilitating these peace talks, and also other players, European Union, United States, UN, all of them who are trying to settle this bloody war. Nobody is interfering in Ethiopia's issue. this is a government claim. Everyone is interested to settle, to end this bloodshed. So we will follow it, and I will report to you if any breakthrough comes out of these peace talks. So, Concerned Citizens Media appreciate SABC News for that reporting. Let's continue with UK, then Sudan protesters. Then I will come to the tragedy happened in Jijiga today. So thank you again. Let's listen.
Third Prime Minister in a space of just 2 months, and he inherits a daunting set of problems in the wake of the brief and chaotic tenure of his predecessor Liz Truss.
Some mistakes were made.
Sunak's message: I'm here to fix those problems.
And that work begins immediately. I will place economic stability and confidence at the heart of this government's agenda. This will mean difficult decisions to come.
Rishi Sunak warned of the profound economic challenges that the UK now faces. Now, as he sweeps into Downing Street for the first time as Prime Minister, it's time to set out his agenda. Addressing the question about his mandate to govern after so many changes of Prime Minister without an election, he put the election-winning 2019 manifesto at the centre of his programme. And in a perceived swipe at both Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, Sunak admitted, I have work to do to restore trust.
This government will have integrity, professionalism, and accountability at every level. Trust is earned, and I will earn yours.
On the same spot, just 90 minutes earlier, Downing Street had seen the departing speech of Liz Truss, the shortest-serving Prime Minister in British history. After just 50 days in charge, there was little for her to claim credit for, so a short speech ended in a simple platitude.
I believe in the British people, and I know that brighter days lie ahead. Thank you.
Sunak's elevation to Prime Minister has received congratulations from around the world. The US President Joe Biden described the first British Asian Prime Minister as groundbreaking.
Pretty astounding. A groundbreaking milestone, and it matters. It matters.
And from the European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen, we count on a strong relationship with the UK to defend our common values. But in Russia, the Kremlin said it saw no grounds for hope that there'll be any positive changes. For Sunak, though, the task of assembling his government is the immediate priority. Stability and confidence to replace turbulence and division. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, Downing Street.
Okay, thank you, Al Jazeera. There is one more about protests in Sudan.
Such a financial
A new march for history. Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets of Sudan's capital Tuesday. They marked the first anniversary of a military coup that upended the nation's short-lived transition to democracy. Videos published on social media showed protesters bound for the presidential palace. Calling out that the revolution continues, they demanded the creation of a civil democratic Sudan. It is the first time in history that we have seen a man lead a coup and not make any progress in an entire year, despite the support of foreign countries. The Sudanese people is determined, and especially this generation. They have decided to do away with military coups forever. Last year, Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan seized the reins of the country and arrested the civilian leaders with whom he had agreed to share power in 2019. Since then, the military has cracked down and tried to suppress new weekly marches demanding a return to civilian rule. 118 protesters have been killed, according to the Sudan Doctors Committee.
Okay, that's credit for African news. So that's Sudan, still almost marking first year since the beginning of their protest in Sudan and change of government. The military is still holding power. A lot of promise, but nothing changed for civilians. So they are coming and demanding change and demanding the power to the civilian government. Thus, we should appreciate that's the Sudanese strength, the Sudanese civil society strength, more matured than Ethiopians really. Ethiopians, as I repeatedly said, suffering tremendously under this leadership, under Abiy Ahmed leadership and the Prosperity Party since 2018. He hijacked the revolution. He changed a lot of promise to the worst. Whether you come to freedom of expression, assembly, other democratic values, and by using undercover operatives, justice system is broken, bloody war continues, hate among Ethiopians, tension at high level, international isolation, so many. But Ethiopians are also suffering from high level of inflation. The living standard is the worst under Abiy Ahmed. What they do? Silence. What they do? They come out when the government call them to speak for them, to show he has public support. You can't see this in Sudan. Sudanese are more mature than Ethiopians in defending their rights. Yes, they are dying. Yes, they are injuring. They are facing injuries and deaths by military authorities. But they are still coming out to the street to demand freedom, justice, and to demand the power to be shifted to civilian authorities. So we appreciate them. We appreciate them for courageous dedication and their continued call for justice, equality, freedom, and democracy in Sudan. And the UK Prime Minister is turmoil in the UK really. So we wish him, Mr. Sunak, Rishi Sunak, is the youngest Prime Minister in UK history. That's what I say. He's about 40 something, and he is also, mixed background, Indian and UK. That's interesting. So we wish him, we congratulate him for being UK's Prime Minister and wish him success on what he's saying. All this to create a government accountable to the people. Credibility, trustworthiness. We are missing those qualities under Abiy Ahmed leadership. Abiy Ahmed say whatever comes to his mouth, and he is not accounted for by Ethiopians. Ethiopians, if they see the constitution, they can wake up and demand change, but they are silent. So let me read the tragedy in Jijiga. As I said, one parliament member assassinated by federal security force, by Ethiopian federal security forces. Then conclude today's presentation. Make it short. Ethiopia's Somali region MP killed by officer at Jijiga airport. I have her picture. I don't know how to download it. Let me show you. Just this is the lady I'm talking about. Okay. Ethiopia Somali regional lawmaker was killed in an officer-involved shooting at Grand Wilwal Airport in Jijiga City on Tuesday afternoon. According to witnesses, an airport security guard opened fire inside the airport, killing the Juwaria Sabis and injuring 5 others. Her name is Juwaria Juwairiya Subis. Many of the victims were travelers exiting the airport. The shooting resulted in suspended operation at Garad Wiliwal Airport. Liu police arrived at the airport and arrested the officer who was suspected of opening fire. An eyewitness told BBC Somali that there was an argument between armed airport security officers before the shooting, although no clear motive has emerged. Authorities do not believe that incident was terror-related. The deceased member of parliament, who was elected from the Dollo region, spent a lot of time working in humanitarian activities. So, she should be respected. They know she's a parliament member, and if there is argument, it should be resolved in a different matter, in a different way, not by gun at the airport. So that's the situation. Everywhere you don't see any good news, all bad news under Abiy Ahmed leadership. And this is a clear assassination of the parliament member. We don't know the background. She may be opposing the regional government or the federal government. We don't have any details. And this news outlet, he ran online news and information about Somalia. So this online news posted this news, and we don't have any details why she is targeted by federal security officers working at the airport, at Jijiga airport. That's a tragedy. And, we wish strength, comfort to the families, and, what can we say? Rest in peace for Joairi Subi for just losing her life. So that's all I'm going to say. And finally, I want to say I wish we hear successful outcome, breakthrough from this South Africa peace talks, so that all the miseries in Tigray will end. These people suffer for more than 2 years, all created by Abiy Ahmed and his prosperity party, all unnecessary. The cover-up of election, all these before the war, eliminating Tigray representative from Ethiopian parliament, making them enemy, calling them, all kind of names, all kind of propaganda, issues with Amara and Tigray region, border crossing, all suffocation before the war. So now, for the last 2 years, no internet, no basic food, no medicine, no phone service, all the suffering, the bombardment, and civil structures, the deaths of civilians, the rape, all kind of atrocities happen. And we want to settle, we want to see these things are settled, so those individuals will be accounted for. I hope they will not go for free, even after these peace talks. Let's settle the peace talks. Let the UN investigative experts do their job so that we can hear or we can see justice served for the victims. Thank you again for coming back. Please be safe and enjoy your day. So long.